Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we've got some emergency balance changes we're going to be talking about. I'm not too sure when these balance changes will hit. They were basically leaked on Twitter like an hour ago, so I've not had much time to put together this video. So I'm just going to throw it out there and just talk about it in a training cave and give you guys my first initial thoughts. So I'm pretty sure most of these are just basically the nerfs. Again, these, I don't know when they're going to come out, whether it's going to come out pretty soon, whether it's going to be with the next update. But let's see. There's some good nerfs in here. So starting off with Crow. So Crow's main attack is going down from 760 damage per dagger to 640 per dagger. So that's a substantial nerf. I'll have the percentages on the screen. So that's quite a big nerf. Crow has still been like a top 5 brawler in the game, even after all of his changes and whatever else. And then they've also nerfed this poison dagger. So before it did 1,600 damage, now it's going to be 1,200 damage. So that's actually one big nerf that I really like, because before with Crow, you'd get close to him, you'd think you'd be able to take him down, and then he just clicks a gadget and he can deal so much damage up close, because that's literally like he has another ammo up close, right, with that other gadget beforehand. So yeah, these are some nice nerfs to Crow, and might finally put him down to the B tier. So we got 3 nerfs with 8-bit. A few of them might seem a little bit overkill. So the first one is with his Starr power. So the boost that you give you and your teammates is normally 15% with the Buffy. That's going to be taken down to 10%. So that's still an alright speed boost, especially when you think of just how easily you can get this speed boost and everybody gets it. So 10% is fine. I think it's a nerf that was definitely needed though. They've also nerfed his supercharge rate. So this is going to be nerfed by around 20%. So this was a big problem with 8-bit. I believe he would have got his super by now, right? It would take a third piece of ammo to get his super. Again, I think this is a fantastic change, because with 8-bit, the biggest problem with him is that once he gets one turret, he can just constantly he just has turrets available at every given point, it felt like. So I think he did need a base rate charge there, because else 8-bit would still be one of the best brawlers inside of the game. And then the last one is with this gadget right here. So extra credits is getting a gadget cooldown from 15 seconds to 18 seconds. So I think this is a good quick fix. Again, the nerf that I would have liked, and I don't know whether we're going to change it, because I'll just change the whole gadget. I just still don't like that you can shoot 2 pieces of ammo at once. I would have just liked a flat just damage nerf to it, because again, like, you think of what damage 8-bit can do. If you press your attack and your gadget at the same time, you can rip through players, like rip through them. So some nice changes to 8-bit. I think this is definitely enough to take him down. The next balance changes are with Max. So Max is getting 2 nerfs. The first one being to her dash gadget. So a dash gadget normally there's a 3-second window to use your second dash. Now it is going to be reduced to 2 seconds. Like, see here, a dash, now I have to use it in 2 seconds time. So that just gives you a less value out of it. Basically, you're not able to just completely tank like 2 Brock shots or whatever, 2 big sniper shots. So I really like this. And then Max's trait has been nerfed by around 23%. So when you're moving around, it would be 23% slower basically to get your super. So this is a nice nerf to Max. I still would have anticipated maybe a nerf to her hypercharge, because personally I think her actual hypercharge has been needing a little bit of a nerf for a while. The fact that you and your teammates can group together and get like a whole super is a bit too cheesy in my opinion. You can just get too much value out of it. And then besides that, I think she's just pretty balanced. Next nerf is coming with Serge, and he's receiving 2 nerfs. So the first nerf is with his power shield gadget. So before it used to give you 2 pieces of ammo when you got hit by it. Now it will give you 1 piece of ammo. So this is a great change, because it's incredibly cheesy just to jump into people and constantly cycle through your gadgets, right? And then the next nerf is with its unload speed. Its unload speed is being nerfed by around 22%. So you jump in here and then you try and use up all your ammo. You can clearly feel it. 20% is a big nerf to an unload speed. You will clearly be fighting for your life a little bit more with Surge, because normally you could just jump in, pop your gadget. Now you're going to get that 1 extra ammo. Now you're unloading a little bit less. So I think like assassins and other brawlers are probably going to get a little bit more of a fairer matchup into him, but I still anticipate him being very strong, because they haven't touched his hypercharge, and you know, the fact that he still splits at the maximum range. There's still a few really powerful things about Serge, but it might be manageable now, perhaps. He's next on the nerf list, and he's receiving 3 quite meaningful nerfs in my opinion. First one being his explosion damage. His explosion damage is going from 1,000 to 800, so that is quite a substantial amount. You'll see here. I mean, it's not, well, actually 200 not substantial. I meant the charge shot is going to be substantial. So his charge shot, as you just seen right there, so if I jump on in here and I shoot this bot, normally that would have dealt 2,000 damage, so that's going to go down to 1,600, and then you see the explosion damage, that's going to be nerfed by 200 as well, and then the speaker damage on top of that is also going to be nerfed. So once I get this from the bots real quick, you should see, if I can hit this bot onto the speaker, you'll see that only 800 damage onto the bot was dealt, which doesn't really seem like a lot as well. That's been literally halved. So a lot of his burst damage when jumping in is going to go down. That should mean that more people survive his super interactions, so that he can't just literally just super into the opponents and just smash the auto aim button, get another super and just get team wipes. I think there's actually a big nerf to him. Let's wait and see. Bolt is also receiving 2 nerfs, so a lot of people will be happy to hear this. And Bolt is a very cheesy brawler and can be very annoying if you've not got the appropriate counters. So the first nerf is going to be with his automatic supercharging trait. So just like Max, he's got the same trait. So that's going to be nerfed as well by 23%. So you're going to be getting your super like a quarter less quicker than before, so that's actually going to be a substantial amount, because normally what bolts will do in pro play, most of the first engagements, they'll just be flying around like this, and by the time they're kind of close to the super, then they'll go in on the bot, because you only need like 1 or 2 hits, and then you've already got your super, and then the super cycling starts like that. And the next nerf is with his damage reduction with his super. So normally it is a 40% damage reduction shield. Now that is being nerfed to 30% damage reduction shield. I think personally the reason why this is a good nerf that needed to happen is because his super just felt too powerful. Like, you'd pop your super and you'd fly through, you'd pop your gadget at the same time. So not only do the opponents have to deal with a 4k shield, they have to deal with 40% damage reduction. I know a lot of people have been switching to the jump gadget as well, by the way, in pro play, but it's still a very toxic scenario. Just a super itself in general was just such a toxic damage reduction, I think, in my opinion, for a brawler like Bolt anyways, because he could just steamroll his way through everything. So some nice nerfs to Bolt, and I still think it's going to probably remain in the A tier. So we have some nerfs to Griff. So Griff is receiving 2 nerfs and then a slight buff. So his gadget, Piggy Bank, is receiving a explosion radius reduction by 200 in value. I think that's around probably like 20%, I would say. But then the bonus damage that you get, one of the bonus explosion radius that you gain when you shoot your Piggy Bank, that is going from 25% increase to a 30% increase. So in total, that will leave a reduction of, will definitely leave less maps, less walls being destroyed through this gadget. Again, I haven't got enough time to completely test it. So say if I don't shoot it here, only a bit of the walls will be broken up, but I'll lead on to the next change quickly whilst we wait for our next cooldown. So as you can see as well, with Keep the Change, the spread has been increased quite greatly. So his spread has increased by 33%. So that's actually a nerf. I think most people might think it might be a buff, but this is an intended nerf in my opinion, because it greatly reduces the damage, especially, I mean, in some ways, well, you think of it higher spread, most of the time that's not good. When Crow was going to receive his attack spread nerf, that meant that it's going to be a lot more inaccurate. I think he's going to burst down brawlers a lot less, because you think, look at this mid-range here, when you're shooting these shots, there is definitely like a little bit in between where you can actually juke out and not get all of that damage. But if it was with his normal attack spread, he'll be dealing way more damage. So yeah, that should be a total nerf. So you'll see here the additional buffy explosion rate. So in total, he definitely is going to destroy less walls. It's going to be harder to hit his shots with Griff. Griff is like an S-tier brawler in the meta right now, if you were wondering, and it's going to make him a lot more manageable, but it's not like, I don't know, the spread could actually be a bigger nerf than we think. Next up, we have Starr Nova. So Starr Nova is receiving 4 nerfs, and boy, does she need it right now. So Starr Nova is receiving a health nerf, as you saw, they have literally, I think they've completely reversed the health nerf. I can't remember if it was 7,200 before, but essentially they've removed 600 health, which is great. I think they buffed about 800 health, I'm pretty certain. But anyways, yeah, big nerf. The next one is her reload time. So her reload before was 1.4 seconds. That's being nerfed to 1.6 seconds. So you can definitely feel it already. She had a bit of a, not a high reload speed, but I wouldn't say it was as fastest either. But this is definitely a lot slower. The next nerf is with her Starr power. So Starr power would normally give her a 4% damage boost when she hits somebody at 5%, I think I said, and then that's instead 4% with her Starr power. So that is definitely a welcomed nerf. I mean, not the biggest nerf in total, but it does mean she'll deal less damage. And her floaty time gadget, the time that you spend in the air, has been reduced from 10 seconds to 6.7 seconds. Oh my god, Brawl Stars, why are you doing this to me? So that is much nicer, and you're not going to get as much value now. So yeah, I think all of these are great nerfs to Starr Nova. I still anticipate her being like a high A tier, low S tier Brawl in the meta, but like I was doing my how to counter video, and there were like no counters to her. Now there will be a few brawlers that can at least approach her now. Lastly, we have some balance changes for Wendy. So Wendy should be releasing soon, I hope, in a couple of weeks. I don't really know. But Wendy is getting a few nerfs before her release. So first off, I can't believe, I think one change that I saw, I believe she didn't in the past, like when I tested her out, that she didn't spawn with this 4K shield. I think that is pretty broken when you think about it. I'm hoping that gets fixed potentially. But anyways, there's a few changes. So her supercharge rate from her trait is reduced by 50% from what it was in the previous sneak peeks. The next one is with her main attack damage. So before it was 2,200, now it is 2,000, so a big nerf to that. Her projectile speed has also been decreased, I believe. I don't know whether this one has hit or not, but I think she was due to get a projectile speed reduction from 4,000 to 3,500, so a little bit harder to hit those shots. I mean, it kind of feels like it's been reduced a little bit, but not the most noticeable in the world, because look how big that projectile size is, by the way. And then once I get hit by this bot, it should reduce a little bit of the shield here. But as I was saying, there's also a main attack shield grant to allies. Before it was 2,000. That has been reduced to like 1,500. So I've got no allies here, but essentially she's going to be giving less shield to herself and less shield to her teammates as well. So she's also getting a nerf because of a damage reduction. She's getting a nerf for the amount of shield that she gives to herself as well. So a lot of nerfs to Wendy. I'm basically all in all, I haven't even done my sneak peeks on Wendy myself, but she was going to be game breaking, especially because she spawns with a 4K shield as well. I thought she was literally going to break the entire game. She might not think it because it's 4,000 health and she has very little damage, but essentially because of her trait. So I'll show it you guys. I mean, it's already been known, but we go into her traits. One of her traits is that she charges her super when taking shield damage. So you're basically cycling your super constantly. You're hitting shots, you're shielding yourself, and then you're shielding teammates at the same time, and you're cycling through to your next super. It's a very toxic domino effect, and I still think that's probably going to be the case, but at least they've taken some initiative and they've listened to a lot of people's concern. That is like 5 nerfs to Wendy before her release, and I still think she's going to be very strong. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Sorry it was very short notice, but I had to just put this one together. But hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.